You know you're here for a reason. However, you may have lost touch with what that is. And even though you've been so successful, and maybe you have climbed out that corporate ladder, or you built an incredible business that's super successful, you're thriving in life one way or the other, right? You've got it nailed, and everyone that knows you sees it. And somehow, even though you think you should know it here, you don't feel it here. And if that resonates for you, then hi, my name is Jen. I'm the founder and owner of Laughing Lotus Wellness, and I'm a transformational midlife purpose coach. What I do is really help midlife women who are super successful, that don't maybe feel it so much anymore, that they're losing touch with why they're doing what they're doing, really to help them get clear about their purpose once again. Sometimes what that means is that our midlife purpose has shifted, right? That things happen as we evolve and change. We might find that even our purpose feels different from where we started on our career journey or path a long time ago. And so I love helping women get clear in this. And so I love to say that if your question is there more to life? My job is to help you answer with a resounding hell yes. Because it's so important that you live into your purpose. That's really what my passion is helping you live into yours. So I love that my purpose is helping you do yours. And sometimes what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to commit some time and energy. We're going to have to invest in our process of really figuring these things out. And what we can do is figure out, like, where have you been? Where are you going? How are you going to get there? How are you going to do that, right? And very often as well, the layers of midlife are kind of hanging around, meaning that we may have gotten kind of sidetracked because we are raising kids. I know I just sent my kid off to college this year, right? We're busy doing all sorts of pieces of our lives, taking care of parents, family members. Maybe we are going through divorces, separations, relational issues, family issues. There's every single kind of thing that can kind of sneak into midlife, right? And what can happen is they're understandable distractions, right? They're understandable. And yet, I'm going to ask you to commit to yourself and your purpose work to show up even when it feels really, really hard. And what I will tell you is the coolest thing of doing psychotherapy for over 20 years was really watching people reconnect with parts of themselves that I think they thought they lost. And because in the midst of crisis, in the midst of trauma, in the midst of mental health concerns or relational concerns, all those pieces, right? We can really feel like we're like forest for the trees, kind of, right? And so it was always one of my very favorite things to see people make meaning in whatever was going on for them. And understanding that they were evolving, even when they didn't want to, even when they didn't ask for it, right? They were evolving. And it's a really spiritual journey. I'm going to speak a little bit to that today because that's something I don't always lean real heavily into, but it's actually a huge passion of mine. And I realize I kind of get quiet about it because I'm like, well, will a professional woman hear me say this? That's assuming that you're not a spiritual person. If you're not a spiritual person, you are going to choose to work with me anyway. Wink, wink. Okay. So that wasn't a wink. That was me blinking you. This is a wink. You're welcome. Okay. Just because I was having a minute. You're welcome. Okay. So commit to living your purpose. 2 steps and a why. 1, I said commit to living with intention from your values and your gifts as you honor who you are meant to be and what you are meant to do, right? Yes, there's a doing component. You'll often hear me say it's not a task, it's not a role. I'm going to get to that in a second. Because it's not. But we have a delivery system, right? In everything we do, we also have to deliver it. So we can love it to the moon and back, but we have to be able to offer up our goods and services, whatever that is. That's really your purpose in this conversation. So I want you to really think about, what is your purpose? What is it? And really living with intention for that, not just like, oh, I think I might be here, and I'm still doing this thing that's completely misaligned. No. I'm asking you to actually commit to yourself, the process, your journey, to you, to whomever you believe in, that you're going to show up and stand in your space and deliver it. Okay. So the second thing I want you to do is write out your purpose without saying it as a role or a task. Good luck. Because it's hard. It's super easy to say, like, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I own my own business, right? Okay, I got it. I'm a sister, I'm a friend, I get it. You can't do that. It also can't be a task. Oh, right? Okay. I want you to write out your purpose about that. So now here's number 1. I do want you to say to me, if you would in the comments, I always love hearing from you. What do you think your purpose is? Are you willing to be brave? Because I know I'm asking you to be vulnerable right now. Are you willing to tell me what you think your purpose is in the comments? I'd love to hear, because it's hard. And tell me about how this went for you. Because if you go to sit down and you're like, that was really hard to write it without saying a role or task, like I get it. I get that's a struggle. That's like very base part of your purpose. That's like a really small piece actually, right? So I want you to sit down and I want you to see how that goes and let me know if that's challenging for you or not. Why? Okay, here's where we're gonna get spiritual. And I could talk about this for 8 years and I'll try. I will never promise that I'll keep it short. Because I want you to be about something bigger than a goal or task, because you are, as a soul, you're here to do so much more. You're here to do something really big. And the piece that always sticks for me is two things. One, you have something unique that only you can do. That's number one. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, I want you to think about this. This one really started to like trip me up when I started thinking about it. When I'm not living in mine, it might be that I might not be influencing someone else to be doing theirs, which is very cause and effect, which is very like domino, right? Ripple kind of idea. It's very spiritual, but to me, I do think that had I stayed where I was in psychotherapy, which is not bad or wrong, I was helping people, I was doing work that really meant something to me. It wasn't quite right anymore. And I think of all the people that I've met, the experiences I've had, the places that I've gone, my life is exponentially better because I leaned in, even when I was fucking scared. And I'm like super honest about that. It was really scary. And so even though I was scared, I leaned in. And what I took from that was so life-alteringly beautiful and powerful. I wouldn't trade it for anything. And so there is something bigger. You are being asked. I want you to imagine, if you believe in, so this is, and just roll with me for sex. So if this is like, not your wheelhouse, roll with me. If you believe in like universe, God, source, mother nature, goddess, I don't care what your shtick is. I don't care. If you lean into that, it's like when you have this change you need to make, they're knocking on your door and they're like, hey, psst, I don't know if you noticed this, but some of your values have changed. Some of your talents and gifts have evolved. Some of what you are in the world has shifted and changed. And we need more of that version of you. This evolved, elevated, expanded part of your soul. And in midlife, this is what's fun, is you have so much wisdom and experience. Oh my God, of course you have changed by midlife. Of course you have. We all have. You're being asked in a really spiritual way to up level. When you up level, you influence others to up level, of course. And also, then you're really delivering what it is that you are meant to do here in the way that you're meant to do it. And so, as scary as it was, right? I know for me and for other women, I have a woman at high level finance left the financial situation, right? She was making bank, right? And you know what she said to her boss when she went in, her supervisor? She went to leave and she said, this isn't in alignment for me anymore. And I was like, you are the coolest ever. Are you fucking kidding me? She was brave enough to use the word alignment. And she's like, I think he was kind of stumped. Not like he was dumb, just like he was like, didn't know what to quite say to her. And I thought, good for her for using language that was right for her heart. And it wasn't in alignment for her. She was willing to take a huge risk to do something different because she knew that she was being asked. I see this over and over again. Another client of mine, in school social work, brilliant at it, like seriously so effing good, like so talented, so good with kids, like all these things. The system was literally killing her. And I was like, you have to go. Like, you have to go. She's like, I think I want to go do like private practice. I'm like, you have to go do private practice. You have to move. One of my greatest celebrations, I literally cried. It was just so like awkward. Like, I literally got her voice memo. I think she left me a voicemail that she was leaving. I cried. I was like, she finally did it. Like, I knew it was in her heart. That's the stuff I'm talking about. That is not a freaking accident. You don't get called to do something a bigger in a different way on accident. It's just not an accident. And I firmly believe that. So if you're going to work with me, I do want you to know I'm deeply spiritual. And this is one of the things I really heavily lean into. Am I doing what I am meant to do here? How do you need me to serve? What's my job now? I was there, now I'm here in this place, in this juncture of my life. What am I meant to do for you to show up and support? This is my everyday task. I will tell you something. I have been paying it forward for years. And I was granted a really beautiful gift a long time ago. And I've talked about it maybe a little bit. You may have heard me tell the story or not. But in high school, my family lost everything. We were in financial ruin for a whole story I'm not going to tell today. And I was not going to be able to go to my high school anymore. I literally, we had no money. There was nothing. It was a private school and I was devastated. I was like, are you kidding? In the middle of this traumatic experience, I might have to switch schools. That'd be awesome. And a family that knew us anonymously donated the money to allow me to stay at school there. I know who they are, and I've since thanked them abundantly. But I want to say this. Even at that young age, I was like, I will make them so glad they invested in me. I will make them so proud and so glad they invested their hard-earned money, time and energy and love and blood, sweat, and tears into me, into my journey. No one had to do that. And I have never forgotten, I never will. And part of my goal, and I'm just announcing, it's my goal is to make enough money in my business to actually create a scholarship at that school for another student for a full ride every single year. That's my goal. Vision. I'm talking to you coming from the month of vision, so I can clearly speak to this. It's on my vision board. It is on my heart to create a freaking scholarship for some student. I had it and I want someone else to have it. That family had no expectation of me whatsoever of what I would go and do and be. They didn't ask anything of me. They gave it freely. And I knew in my soul that I had a job to do here. And I wanted to really live into that space for them. I wanted that for them to say thank you. It was gratitude personified, gratitude in living, right? Intention, intention, intention. And so I really want you to think about that piece for yourself, is that when you're leaning in, I do look at the spiritual component of this stuff for me. That's really important. And I think that was kind of one of the final nudges for me, was like, Jennifer, if you're not going to go do this, someone's not going to get the service the way that you need to provide it now. And it doesn't just look like psychotherapy anymore. And it wasn't wrong, broken, or anything like that. Therapy is lovely. That's not what I'm saying. It wasn't for me anymore. It wasn't the right venue. And I had to really make this gigantic leap, and it was scary. I'm so glad that I did. And so I just want to ask you to do that same thing. Can you commit to living with intention from your purpose? Do you know what your purpose is? Do you know how to get started, right? So let me say this. If you're still listening, and I'm glad you're here if you are, I would love to invite you. If you were listening, so you're like, I think I might have some things I want to figure out, right? Whether it's what it means to be connected to something bigger than yourself in terms of your purpose, whether it's defining what your purpose actually is, living with intention from that space, feel free to connect with me on my website. It's laughinglotuswellness.com. Again, that's laughinglotuswellness.com. You can go in, subscribe to my email list, and what that allows you to do is really stay in touch with me and ask me questions via email, but also to see and hear about all the events and things that are coming forward. I'm always creating workshops and different things that are coming up. I have a lot going on this year I'm super excited about. That is a wonderful space to go find all that information. So again, it's laughinglotuswellness.com. Go check it out, subscribe to my emails, become part of my community, follow along. If this is something on your heart in midlife as a woman, come join us. I have a really kick-ass community, and I would love to see you participate in that. If this is something that's living around in your heart and walking around in there, and it's like, you know that there's something that's niggling in there. I've already been there, done that, and I'll do it again. And hopefully this next time with less kicking and screaming, just saying. I'm hoping that's the wisdom I've gleaned from it. Until then, my friends, I just want to surround you in blessings, love, and light. And I look forward to seeing you next time. And I just want to say that I'm here to support you to revolutionize your midlife on your terms, the way that you want, and fully rising onto your past purpose. Take care, everybody.